Deneen Borelli and District Media Group's Beverly Hallberg. Deneen, let me start with you. Kamala Harris, certainly 2 million followers on Twitter, very well known, very well organized from a big state. She could possibly make history, but this is one heck of a field here.
You're absolutely right, Charles. I didn't hear you mention Hillary Clinton. Is she running again, too?
I don't know. She might think she's a shoo-in, but it might be different this time. She may actually have to put on her sneakers and get ready.
Like the last time, right? Yeah. But this is shaping up to be a big field, and because of that, the candidates are it's going to be a race to the left because they're going to try to move away from the pack and distinguish themselves from the pack. One sure way to do so is to attack corporations, something that Elizabeth Warren is doing. She wants to reduce their revenue. So they're going to go further to the left to really appeal to their base because the Democrat Party is moving further left, and the politicians, they have to keep up with them and catch up. So that's what we're going to see more of this big government rhetoric coming from these candidates.
You know, Beverly, when I listen to Cory Booker, the line sounds so corny in the sense that it feels old. It feels like moving to the left means like moving backwards. You know, this social justice fight as we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, you know, are they spending too much time relitigating the wars of yesteryear that America has largely overcome and working toward, again, a more perfect union?
Yeah, I think it's concerning because also when everything becomes that somebody is a victim, whatever that happens to be, actually the real victims aren't brought out. So the more that you talk about it, I think people become desensitized to the real racism, the real persecution that people do find. And so they're just trying to one-up each other with this. So I think we're going to get a lot more rhetoric on this. And I also think that especially when you have AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, talking about socialism, and socialism is sadly very popular with millennials and young people. You're going to see a lot of Democrats ride that train as well. So it's really going to be trying to educate people about what's really going on.
Well, who does the educating? The Republicans?
Well, they're not good at it.
Yeah.
Republicans aren't good at it. I think part of this is making sure that when it comes to, if you want to talk about grassroots, when we talk about education, sadly, when it comes to education, it's largely run by liberals when it comes to higher education. This is what I'm hopeful for, is that so many millennials are entrepreneurial. I hope as they start running their own businesses and they start realizing having more money, I actually give my staff wages, I hire more people. As they start running businesses, I hope they start seeing it. But it's an uphill battle.
So Deneen,
I agree with Beverly.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are saying the same thing, and then of course I'm not even sure it's pro-socialism as much as anti-capitalism, at least to the degree you see it. And when we see the commercials, someone starts a shoe company, and for every one they sell, they give one away, or a sock company. You know, the business models that are popular seem to have built into them a form of social justice, if you will. So even that is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, Deneen. And who's not against higher taxes against someone who's super rich?
Well, these corporations should be focused on shareholder value and providing goods and services for consumers rather than weighing into political issues. And this is where the left comes in with the politicians. They're going to go after these companies. They're going to demonize them. And instead of these companies standing up for what they're supposed to be doing and standing up for their shareholders and standing up to protect their brands, they shouldn't be caving to the whims of the politicians because this, again, it's low-hanging fruit. So I would say expect more of the Democrats to demonize and target certain companies, especially energy companies.
Ladies, let me ask real quick as we wrap this up. Is it too early to call a front runner, Deneen?
I do think it's too early. I'll wait and see how everything weighs out as time goes by.
Beverly, too early?
I think with Joe Biden, he's somebody who has name recognition. He's likable. I think he has a good chance. So he's someone who I see at the front of the pack.
You know the irony, though, of course, I read an article on Friday about Beto, and it was sort of an anti that he's too white, too privileged, and it was an article from a progressive. You know, it feels like the identity politics, right? The identity politics, ironically, seems to be haunting the Democratic Party. You speak of AOC. She's had a few of these skirmishes, and if you look beyond it, it feels like it's an identity politics thing more than anything else.
I think that that's going to come up, but I also think that if you're liberal, the liberals give you a pass. So while one person may mention it or a small group of people, I think as a whole, that doesn't become a problem for the majority of Democrat voters.
All right, it's going to be interesting. Ladies, thank you both very much, Beverly and Deneen. Now